Everybody talks about how bad dating is these days. But what if it's not the pissy dating pool? What if it's the things we haven't healed from? The way we were raised, the walls we built, but now call them standards. On this season of Connection Through Chaos, we're no longer chasing connection. We're unpacking what's really been blocking it and the uncomfortable truths about how our upbringing, our traumas, and our egos shape who we choose and how we connect. And on this episode, we're going to talk about standards. I've been seeing so much stuff on social media about standards. It's a every 2-3 month cycle, and I'm just tired of it. So I'm like, if I just make a video and if this impacts one person and they're able to adjust their standards, be more realistic with their standards, and actually find love that they deserve, love that meets them where they are, then I feel like this video served this purpose. And it's not that I think people have high standards. I just think people have unrealistic standards. And not unrealistic because they're asking for too much, because you're not. Unrealistic because those standards were built on social media, trauma, and basically hearsay. And they've never been tested in real life. And that misunderstanding is loudly breaking modern dating. That's what's been causing this rip, this man versus woman bullshit. And I'm tired of it. But to be clear, unrealistic doesn't mean impossible. It just means impractical. And if you want to go down definitions, I'm not here to play semantics. But if you want to go down definitions, unrealistic, impractical, practical meaning something that is easily done, commonly done, blah, yada, yada, yada. When I really sit back and I look at dating now, this is the pattern I see. I don't know about y'all. People are calling things standards, but never went deeper than the surface, never pressure tested it in real life, never examined it outside of the internet. They just felt right to say. And that's how we end up with these preferences dressed up as morals, trauma, dressed up as self-respect, social media clips dressed up as wisdom. Think about that. People are really looking at these social media clips and being like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Oh yeah, I'm gonna add that to my standards now. Think about it. Get your feelings out of it. Before that Cheesecake Factory clip went viral, have you ever in your life before then heard somebody say Cheesecake Factory ain't a date? Think about it. I heard people say they don't like the food. That's a given. If you don't like the food, that makes sense that you would not like to go there. But to say Cheesecake Factory isn't a date because that's where I go on my lunch break. That's where I go and I don't dress up for there. It's not a dressy place. I never heard that before that Cheesecake Factory video came out. And it's not because people are dumb. Because y'all aren't dumb. Y'all not stupid. But it's because influence moves faster than reflection. And a lot of people don't want to actually do the work. Like, it's easy to say, oh, I want this. But then when you dissect it, you be like, what is this? Why do I want this? That's doing too much work. And a lot of people don't do that. It's just so much easier to say, I want a 6-figure person. I want somebody who's 6 feet because I feel protected around them. I want a woman who's old fashioned and cooks and cleans. But then when you unpack that, that's when you start seeing the flaws. Most standards weren't even built. They were absorbed. And this is where people get kind of defensive. So I want to be super precise. Unrealistic does not mean something does not exist. That's not even a definition of unrealistic. We're not going to play semantics. Y'all know I don't play that on my show. We can go definition for definition, bar for bar. Just because your auntie has it, or because your mom did it when you was younger, or just because you've seen it once, or maybe a few in your immediate circle, that does not make it realistic. By definition, realistic means seeing things as they really are and dealing with them in a practical way. Yes, you see your auntie has XYZ. Yes, you seen your mama did XYZ. But that's not seeing things. You have to think in a more general concept, a more general construct. You can't say, oh, I seen this happen right here in this little pocket and then try to adapt that as, oh, this is the norm. Exceptions aren't the rule. Seeing something once doesn't make it common, probable, or even sustainable. Rare examples don't make good dating framework. Like you can't say, oh, this rare thing right here is a good framework for me, because that's gonna make you in this tiny box. That's gonna put you in a small box with a small population, make it almost impossible for people to reach you. And here's the part people miss. A woman might say, I want a man who makes six figures because that means financial security. A man might say, I want a woman who works full time, still handles the home because that's what my mom did. And on the surface, both explanations make perfect sense. The issue isn't the explanation though. The issue is that most standards, they sound logical, they feel safe, they work in theory, but when you hold them up against real life today, the cracks start to show. Most standards make sense at first glance. They just don't survive that deeper inspection. Let's take a second to break down the most common one. A lot of women say they want a man who makes six figures because they believe that equals financial security, trips, gifts, being taken care of. And there is nothing wrong with that. You should want that as a woman. On the surface, it sounds logical. But once you pressure test that in the real world, it breaks. Because now a man making 75,000, 65,000 doesn't even get considered. And don't let him look like he don't even make six figures. He's invincible to you. Meanwhile, that same man who makes 65, 75, no debt, savings, and disposable income to take trips whenever he wants to. The other man who make 100,000, drowning, debt, lifestyle imbalance, damn near scraping by. So now the question becomes, is this standard actually about financial stability or the image of it? Y'all get where I'm going with this? A dollar amount is not equivalent to or an indicator of behaviors. And that's all I said to y'all and been saying to y'all. Look at the person. Take the person for face value. A dollar amount is not a behavior. That's why I keep telling y'all, y'all gotta look at people's behaviors. And this is the part of the work that I'm talking about people don't want to do. It's the math. The math has to math. And this is where feelings and reality have to part ways. Roughly, and this is a fact, y'all can look it up, 18 to 25% of all adults in the US make over six figures, make over 100,000. Now, before y'all get in here with semantics again, I know there's a lot of people who don't take the poll. There's a lot of people who this doesn't account for and plethora of other things. But we're still in this realm of 18 to 25. If you want to account for, a couple million, a couple hundred thousand, let's go 30%. But you have to be realistic. It's not 50% of all Americans. It's not 60% of all Americans. You can look at the studies yourself. Look at the numbers. Now, that's all Americans. Now, let's do the math. Subtract women. Subtract married men. Subtract gay men. Subtract the age range that you like to stay in. Subtract your standards. Oh, they can't be a Sagittarius. They can't be a Leo. They can't be a Scorpio. They can't be under 6 feet. They can't be that. You add all your other standards in there, you're left not with 15%, not even 10%. You're flirting with the possibility of 1% of all men in America. 1% of all men in America. And 1% is not practical. 1% is nowhere near the definition of realistic. And if the pool is that microscopic, then in fact, that makes your standard unrealistic. That's just mathing. And this ain't me just digging on women. Men have unrealistic standards too. They just don't call them standards. They call them requirements, expectations. But they too take rare examples, skip the math, turn expectations into requirements. One big one I see is expecting a woman to work 8, 10, 12 hours, still come home, cook, clean, raise kids, and take care of him. Just because they mama did it. That doesn't make it sustainable. That doesn't make it common. That doesn't make it realistic in today's times. They're wanting the benefits of tradition without the responsibility of it. Another one, wanting a feminine woman without providing her emotional safety. Consistency, the minimum shit. Leadership, wanting a submissive woman without building a trust with her. Wanting loyalty, but he can't even be consistent. You can't demand outcomes you don't create conditions for. Then there's the standards that's built off of trauma. The part most people are really doing for real, for real. This is the piece people skip. And it's the real reason a lot of standards are so extreme. A lot of people aren't creating standards from actual values and principles and all that one stuff. They're creating standards from wounds. They got hurt, got embarrassed, got used, got played, abandoned, cheated on, overlooked, plethora of things. And instead of healing that wound, they build a wall and call it my new standard. So now the standard isn't about connection. It's about prevention. Like, I'm not dealing with no more Leos. That one bad experience with that one person or a couple people, and now the whole group is eliminated. That's not discernment. That's an attempt to control risk. Or they have to be fully healed when they come over here. What you really mean is, I don't want to deal with someone who can't communicate, can't take accountability, and make me carry the emotional chaos, which is valid, but phrasing it becomes unrealistic because it demands perfection instead of accountability. Or another one, they have to have everything figured out. Okay, they have to have everything figured out, but do you have everything figured out? You have your dream car, your dream finances, your dream bank account, your dream house, your dream life. That's everything figured out. Do you got that? What you really want to say is, I'm terrified of uncertainty and I don't want to build with someone. I want guaranteed safety up front. That's what you're saying. And here's the real trap. When standards are built on traumas, they get set so high that nobody can reach you. Because if nobody qualifies, you never have to risk being disappointed or hurt again. Trauma doesn't just make us cautious. It makes us create impossible requirements. And that's something that y'all have to be conscious of. And this is a shared issue. This ain't men versus women, whose standards are worse. This is all of us, both sides. We're all confusing fantasy with realism, influence with values, and protection with standards. We're taking rare examples, loud internet opinions, and unhealed trauma and building our whole dating lives around them. And that's sad as fuck, y'all. Then wondering why nobody fits. Blaming the pissy dating pool when we're the ones literally putting 99% of people into the pool just so we can feel safe standing outside looking in, calling it protecting my peace. Unexamined standards don't protect you. They isolate you. Wanting stability isn't wrong. Wanting safety isn't wrong. Wanting peace isn't wrong. But chasing the symbols instead of the substance keeps alienating the very people who can actually give you what you're looking for. Until standards are really interrogated, tested, and grounded in reality, they keep acting like walls instead of filters. You're not filtering nobody out. And those are two very different concepts. I want everybody to heal. I want y'all to find your real person. Y'all been following me for years. Y'all seen how much of a lover boy I am. I love. I'm tired of being the only one on social media talking about it and having all my social media friends tell me to stop just because they're sick of it. They sick of seeing somebody in love because it's so uncommon these days. I'm tired of being the one that's always talking about connection instead of this chaos. I'm tired of this men versus women stuff. I'm tired of people telling stories about shit you ain't never even lived. You a man talking about, women ain't shit. You ain't never had a woman tell you that you need to pay for her nails and her hair before the date. You a woman talking about men sassy. You ain't never had a man ask you to pick him up and pay for his haircut before y'all date. But y'all perpetuate these stories online as if that's what's going on in the real fucking world. Most of y'all aren't even experiencing this shit. Y'all experiencing it online, taking on secondhand trauma. And I hate that for y'all. And then you're talking about these stories, adding them to your standards list and eliminating good, suitable people before you ever give them a chance. Like, I created this show because I'm tired of it. And if each one of these videos affects one person and they change their ways, they start thinking more realistic, they start looking to heal their traumas, and they find a person that of their dreams, I'm happy. I ain't here to change nobody's mind who ain't looking for change. This video, if you set on your standards, you think 6 foot, 6 figure, 6-pack is so in abundance out there, baby, do you. If you a man who thinks there's gonna be a woman who's gonna work a 10, 12-hour shift, come home, cook, clean, do laundry, and take care of you because you seen your mama do it, bro, keep looking. All of my messages are for people who are like, you know what I've been doing ain't been working. What I've been doing ain't been working, and I want to see some change. Let me start exploring what could possibly be the issue. That's who my content is for. So for those people, I sat down with the smartest brain in the entire world. I sat down with ChatGPT. And I created a standards audit checklist. It's free. I don't want nothing for it. This ain't about lowering your standards. It's about sitting with yourself, and dissecting where your standards come from. Figuring out which ones are real values and which ones are trauma, which ones are realistic and which ones are just protection mechanisms. So you don't keep eliminating people who could actually love you, show up for you, build something real with you. This checklist is going to be in the link. Download it, save it, actually do it. And let's get out of this toxic, recycled, pissy dating, pool narrative that most people aren't even living in real life. Let's heal so we can get back to love, get back to connection, get back to thriving with a happy partner in our lives. And when you discover that, your trauma is picking for you. The things you went through in life is picking for you. Once you unlock that, it changes everything. But let's start with these standards. Let's get realistic. That way you can find love and stop overlooking well-qualified people. Much love. Be blessed. Stay open-minded. And let's heal together. See y'all in the next episode. Peace.